Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. All right, Pixie, I think we are on YouTube Live, if I'm not mistaken. Granted, I am using Google Chrome, which I realize is not your favorite web browser. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for the Locker Gnome Daily Report, TLDR for short. Too long, didn't read. Yes, the irony did not escape us. That's one of the reasons why we called it that. LockerGnome.com. If you haven't already subscribed to the email newsletter, please do. We'll notify you of all the latest and greatest things that we're publishing. Tech news, reviews, how-tos, you name it. If it's geeky, we've probably got you covered. I mean, not physically, we wouldn't have you covered. That's kind of really disgusting, and I don't want to know you in that way. It's a free email newsletter, LockerGnome.com, and we're giving away a Sony Vaio some point this month, as well as a digital camera. Not this one. This is mine. You can get your own, and hopefully everyone's doing well today. And certainly I would appreciate the likes for this live video, as would Pixie. I don't know if you saw. Pixie got her haircut today. She's looking awfully sweet with her bow. Look, there's the camera. Do you think dogs have any idea what's going on? I don't think. I posted an animated GIF of a cat onto Google+. It was apparently very popular. The cat swipes at another cat's head, and that cat turns around and swipes another cat. Oh, talk about being a troll. So let's see here. It looks like we have some comments coming in and some likes already. So I think I've got everything working as it should be. If you have any questions that I might answer here during this broadcast, feel free to posit them as a comment below or specifically on the page. If you're watching this video as an embed, if you're watching it live, you can interact with me directly. If you're watching it after it's been recorded, well, hopefully you will still enjoy it after the fact. And people, according to the feedback I'm getting, because I see your tweets, if you include at Chris Pirillo or at LockerGnome, I see them. I retweet you too. I see your Facebook comments. I see your Google Pluses. In fact, I should tell everybody that we're live now, shouldn't I? So let's go over here, at Chris Pirillo. There, that tweet just went out. Now we're going to plus it. And you can go and check out that animated GIF of the cat. And yes, it's called GIF. And you know who told me that? The guy who created it. Let's go ahead and share it on Facebook. I had a massive share yesterday. I made a little graph that ended up looking like Pac-Man, saying that people like sharing things. Only you gotta see it. I mean, it's impossible to explain, right? It's a visual. So swing by my Facebook page and have fun with that. It's geeky, right? And speaking of geeky, I need to let you know, if you're watching this live or if you're watching this after the fact, you don't see anything. Are you kidding me? Don't do this if you can't see anything. Says nothing, not working. I can't tell if you guys... Sayonara Production. Really? Jack 2259? Computer Life 22? Come on, throw me a bone here. Chris, it's not working. Lol. Wait a minute. How can it not be working if... Audio... This is really not funny. I gotta know. Okay, so let me ask my remote producer, Chris. He just joined the team. Is everything working on YouTube Live fine for you? Someone I can, trust instead of you guys just totally, getting my goat or dog. Okay, so back to the geeky topics. I wanted to let you know that we've scheduled tomorrow's TLDR an hour early. Of course, if you head over to go.tagjag.com/upcoming live, you'll see that it's scheduled an hour before normal because we will be interviewing, like you and I, will be talking to the man who built R2-D2. We're going to have him on. It's going to be an audio interview. He's not a very, I'm not going to say not photogenic. I mean, I'm sure he is. He just doesn't have a webcam, apparently, which is really weird. You'd think, a geek who would build R2-D2 would have a webcam at least. Maybe I can send him one if he's missing. I've got a few extra webcams lying around the home office here, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Anyway, that should be fun tomorrow. With any luck, that will work out well and everybody will enjoy it. I've got a few questions already lined up for him, the questions that you've asked as I posted the thread on Google Plus or onto Facebook. According to JDMC Jaderson85, you guys might want to refresh the page because I'm getting everything nice and clear from New Zealand. And if they're getting it in New Zealand, I think we can get it over here in America, although some people apparently are having some issues. I don't know if it's because YouTube was performing maintenance today, because that is certainly a possibility. People say it's working, just hit refresh, says Daniel Adam 0. I love it when you intercap your names, by the way, because it makes it easier to read, just rolls off the tongue. I guess YouTube must still be updating the site. Yeah, they were doing it earlier today, and that kind of had me worried before we started going live here. And everything seems to be okay. So if you have questions, feel free to post those comments, questions, smart remarks, whatever, and I'll get to them, assuming you can watch the feed that is unfolding in front of you. Oh, the joys of doing things live. So let's go ahead and roll into one of our first videos as you guys are preparing those questions, potential questions to answer as the hour rolls on. Which music app do you use? I mean, the go-to app. Spotify is pretty much on my desktop running anytime I'm listening to music. And this is one of the reasons why I have to mute the live video feed at live.pirillo.com, because I don't own the license for the music. And Spotify just unleashed a new beta. I'm not sure if you've downloaded it, but it's nice. Just go ahead and launch Spotify, and it'll update. And it says, hey, if you want the latest player, just hit refresh, or I guess exit out and restart the application, and you'd be good to go. So, they are seemingly taking the music industry by storm. And I got to reminisce. I had grown up with LPs, back when they were records and albums existed, and the audio quality was great. I mean, the idea of digital, anytime we use the keyword, it was typically in relation to your fingers, your digits, not something that is electronic. And, I purchased the albums back then. I also purchased cassette tapes. I remember going and upgrading and going to CDs. And, now we are on the cusp of something so disruptive. You can listen to just about anything you want to listen to without having to do too much work. Spotify client here in the U.S. Spotify, of course, has been around for a lot longer than it's been available in the U.S. But since I live in the U.S., I gotta wait until it's released in the U.S. unless I do something slightly odd. Crazy 564 something. Then it scrolled off. Said that he uses Google Music, and I don't know if I see Google Music as disruptive as I do Spotify. I don't see Amazon Music as disruptive as Spotify. I don't see iTunes and iCloud being as disruptive as Spotify is. It's easy to use. It works well enough. And if you're willing to put up with, some advertisements here and there, I don't see how you could be disappointed with what Spotify has to offer. While JJS says, gotta say I love Slacker, never tried Slacker. I've tried a lot of music services, believe me. And I've paid a lot of money, over the years. The bigger issue is that doing it the right way can sometimes be a challenge, because you want it to be convenient. And if it's not convenient, you're going to try to make it convenient. I think that Spotify is on the right track. They are releasing new updates at breakneck speed. They just announced the availability of applications that can be built with the API. So you, instead of just one Spotify experience, you, in the next year or so, could create a Locker Gnome geeky app, or that's specifically using a playlist that we create together that's geeky music. And we can do that using Spotify's library and the official API. Did I say library? I meant, I meant to say library. It just came out library. I am Thomas says, yeah, Spotify is my go-to music service. I pay premium. I backed up my iTunes Music, deleted it off my computer. I haven't. I get iTunes Music when I go into Starbucks and they hand out those cards. It's okay. It's not hurting anything, but I don't really feel like I need to back it up, especially now that iCloud can restore my purchases from the internet. It's not that big of a deal. Spotify is really good apart from the adverts. I have it on my phone as well. It says iTutorial UK. iTutorial UK, I'm not sure if you guys have subscribed to him yet, but he is a regular here with the live TLDR, and I appreciate that. See, it's me kind of giving back there. Love Spotify on my desktop, laptops, and phone. Same playlists on all, says Target Hunter 9. I use TuneIn, which is radio, says the S. Davies 9, I think it is what it was. Pandora for the win, OX14JF, another one of the live regular chatters here, again, on YouTube. Lieberry, it makes your tongue blue if you lie, says that guy that was here. That's his handle. It's a great handle, by the way. Unless you're not here, you're there. So, do you believe that Spotify is being disruptive in how they're doing things compared to the way that we dealt with music a year ago, or further back than a year ago? It just seems that every 6 months, something happens, something changes, and the world gets to be just a tiny bit more convenient. We've written the article on LockerGnome.com explaining more about the beta and why we further believe it is disruptive. And I'm going to roll, boy, I'm breaking a sweat. I'm going to roll from that into the article that I had written, ironically enough, today, theoretically, wait a minute. That didn't get linked in the show notes. Okay, we'll have to get the links to in the show notes. We're missing one article that I had written. I had take at least, wait, did I do that? No, I wrote it this morning, so it wouldn't have been covered yet. Okay. And I think I've done a video on it before, so it's not as big of a deal, but, you know, it's talking about how I don't pay for music anymore. And I think I want to parlay that into a discussion about subscription services in general. I'm not a freeloader. I mean, granted, I'm frugal. If I don't have to pay for something, I won't. I love downloading apps on my iPhone that will tell me when an app is lowered in price or it's gone free altogether. I use coupon apps all the time. I scout for coupons in the mail. I love saving money. I do. It's sometimes saving money is a lot more fun than spending it, which sounds a little kind of strange. But in writing an article this morning that builds off of a video that I did last week, I believe, about how I'm no longer paying for music, it's not that I'm trying to circumvent the system. I'm a big believer in subscriptions. I hate paying a la carte, and I'm not exactly sure. I wanted to kind of poll the audience, certainly the live audience here. Do you prefer subscriptions or a la carte purchases? So an example would be a subscription might be something like Pandora One. A la carte might be just purchasing one single track. Some people can do that. I can't. Yes, it's easier and easier to keep track of your individual tracks using cloud-based services like Google Music or Amazon's cloud music player, iTunes iCloud, or I guess it's Apple's iCloud, but it's connected to iTunes. I can't keep my brand straight. So there's all of these remote services that'll help you keep track of a lot of your digital media. But I hate organizing files. I hate it. I really do. I want to sneeze right now. Not because I hate organizing files and I'm allergic to it. It's just I don't know. I think it's the dog the dog that just got her hair cut here. I'm not doing this to increase views or likes to this video. She is. I'm an innocent party here. Maybe that's why I'm hot, because I've got this hot dog here falling asleep on my lap. Someone noted that they no longer pay for music, and this is exactly what I wrote in my article today, outlining what I've done over time and how I used to pay all the way up to a couple of months ago, and then I just stopped because I realized I don't need to pay anymore, and I'm not cheating. That's what kept me from doing it before, because I'm more of a music or media subscription guy. I always have been. I always look forward to that, because to me, paying $15 a month to okay, let me take a step back. I could pay $15 to buy one album, or $15 to listen to 100 albums over the course of a month. And economically speaking, it just seemed to be more viable to go with the subscription option, because I might be in the mood to listen to The Doors, or to Flim and the BBs, or to Weird Al Yankovic. And these various moods I might have, I don't want to keep track of all those files. And having a remote subscription service has just always been, to me, the big win. And it's not that Pandora has a lot of music in its library. It really doesn't in comparison to other services that are out there today. It's just that it's easy to use and it's there. So Computer Life 22 said, if subscription allowed me to download music to my iPod, then subscription, otherwise buying from iTunes. So he's someone who's stuck with iTunes. Teen Ninga says, radio, Spotify, and YouTube are all free. Why pay money for something you can do for free? And it's just economics, right? But I'm not going to steal cable to get my programming from a television service provider. I'm going to do it through legitimate means. I like being on the up and up. I mean, that doesn't give me the moral high ground. It's just, you should pay someone what they expect to be paid. If they don't want anything for it, awesome. Then you don't have to give them anything for it. But if they do ask something for it, you've got to kind of play by the rules. Because if you don't, then it's kind of like you saying, well, you should pay me and I'm not going to pay you. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. Why do you deserve to get paid and they don't? If you don't agree with the pricing, don't buy it. Or find a coupon. Find some kind of savings. Find some kind of discount. Or just wait. Imagine growing up and all I really had to copy music back and forth was a cassette player. You could do something called dubbing. Or if you were lucky, you had a boom box. I don't know if they just still call them boom boxes. That could do high-speed dubbing. And it made you sound like a chipmunk or the song. It's crazy. Oh man, I can't imagine how much time I've wasted in seeking a beginning and ending of tracks. I used to make mixtapes back when they were tapes. So if I had a chance back then to subscribe to music instead of managing it the way that I did, absolutely. I don't think managing music has gotten any easier over time either. It's still a mess. The easiest way to do it, in my estimation, is a subscription service. And at this point, as I wrote in the article, I'm not paying anything. And that's okay. I just listen to ads. And that's fine. These are good services. So my question again, do you prefer a la carte or subscription service in terms of your media consumption? Why and what? You have my answer. You have the article. What are you waiting for? I've got one dog falling asleep on my lap and another dog falling asleep on the desk. Dual dubbing for the win, says DJ Swift 99. Boom Boom Pow, says Yamazaru Ninja. I'd rather pay a little at a time and watch an ad on YouTube than pay for a song outright. It's true. We're the Chipmunks. Chimpunk. Is that a song, Stax Media? I have no idea. I was a chipmunk way back in the day. I played one in a talent show, and look at where I ended up. It's not really that far from where I was before. So let's go ahead and dive into another article that was written specifically on the new version of iOS 5, available for the iPhone. And you'd think that a lot of people would have this by now. I don't know if they do. So let's go ahead and dive into that as a separate video. If you hear any weird sounds in this particular video, like that, there's a computer fan. And can you hear that? It's barely audible. Wicket, one of my dogs, is asleep on the desk. I wish I could point the camera to it. Actually, I probably should, but then he'd wake up and it would no longer be funny. So, the reason for this video, as we are recording it live, is to really convince you that it is time for you to upgrade to iOS 5. And my question, if you're watching live or if you're watching after the fact, have you held off on upgrading to iOS 5? You're saying, no, I'm going to wait for the bugs to be fixed. Why? I mean, I understand that bugs may come along. Is iOS ever perfect? No, I mean, I've certainly had issues with earlier iterations of the operating system, but iOS 5 is, I would say, for the most part, been just fine. Gaston1Sam says, I love iOS 5. I have a Second generation jailbroken iPod Touch, no iOS 5 for me, and someone else said that. Hello, what's up, Chris, says Andreas BN228. I'm just, asking you why you haven't upgraded to iOS 5 yet. What is stopping you? I mean, could it be an application that no longer runs? There are so many reasons for you to upgrade to iOS 5 already. One, it's been out for a little while. I wouldn't say that there are any major showstoppers, and that's what most people would be concerned about. Like, I don't want to upgrade because it might break stuff. It doesn't really break anything. In fact, I would say iOS 5 runs better on older devices than it does on newer devices because they've made certain optimizations to it. And that's the nice thing about the way Apple upgrades its operating system. It kind of brings as many people as it possibly can along with the upgrades. So you may have a phone that's a couple years old, you can still run iOS 5 and be just fine. And granted, there are certainly advantages of upgrading your hardware, but in terms of the software, there's so much you're going to be able to enjoy. And these are things, small things, really. And we, of course, had dived into this a little deeper with the article of top 10 reasons why you should finally upgrade to iOS 5. But that's why I'm curious to know how many of you haven't upgraded. Granted, you may be watching this after iOS 6 has been released, in which case this has been, a completely outdated video. But what's new in iOS 5? The notification center. In fact, I just got a tweet. I shouldn't have turned it off. I just got a tweet from somebody. If you guys tweet me at Chris Pirillo, it may show up here in the notification bar. And I tell you, that is awesome. You can control the notifications up on top. You can have them show in the lock screen if you want to. You've got some granular control over the notifications. That alone is the reason to get off of any earlier version of iOS. Period. That is a huge boost in productivity. Instead of having to press OK, OK, OK in this very interruptive fashion, you don't have to do that. Another thing that I found out today, I set a couple of alarms for the dog's haircuts, and it came up and it said snooze, right? There's a big red button in the middle, said snooze. So now it's easier to hit snooze on your alarm, and this, I gotta tell you, this phone is my alarm clock. I don't know if you guys really use like traditional alarm clocks anymore, but this has made me, happy enough in terms of something that works well or well enough in a variety of situations. Of course, there are other things that you might appreciate, and I think beyond Notification Center and the snooze alarm, if you use the phone as your alarm, maybe I'm the only one who does. I don't know. I could be alone in that. Is the idea that as I'm looking at the article, I think the thing that jumps out most at me is iCloud. And this is something that I learned the other day. I kind of got upset. I didn't throw the phone or anything. I got upset at something that happened. The phone was fine, but for some reason, the computer that I used as a syncing point said that I needed to resync it. Something had gone wrong, but it didn't really tell me what it was. It had last backed up like a month ago. And I had made so many changes in the course of a month. I play with my phone a lot. I mean, I use it every single day. I try new apps and all that. And I found out it had not done a backup. So to manually back up using, Wi-Fi and iCloud, if you back up to iCloud, and I do, might as well. I mean, they're offering it as part of the service, and you can encrypt it with a password and everything. If you go into Settings, and then iCloud, and don't worry, I'll pull it in a little closer, and then Storage and Backup, you can toggle iCloud Backup and then Back Up Now. And for some reason, you can see there at the bottom, and for some reason, it didn't back up on its own. Or it didn't remember when the last time it backed up, so I had to go and redo a lot of my settings, which is just kind of a pain. So, is iCloud perfect? Is the synchronization process perfect? No, it's not. But it's kind of better than what you have before. And that's when you have to ask yourself, well, is it better? Am I really losing anything? No, you're not. I'm going to tell you right now, it's okay to upgrade to iOS 5. If your phone explodes because you upgraded to it, I'm not responsible for it. I just don't think it's going to happen. My dad is using iOS 5 on his iPad too. He loves the new feature, says Gravity Graphics. Do you have a matte screen protector for your iPhone? Chris says the B. Davis 2195. Indeed, I do. And the reason why is because I just want it to be nice and clean every time I look at the screen. And plus, it doesn't reflect. Hence being matte. That's not its name. It's matte, M-A-T-T-E. The E, of course, is silent, as is the Q. Upgrade already after you read the article. Or maybe you already have. I don't know. You could have. Who knows? Anybody's guess at this point in time. You know, the idea that, let's see here. Did I, everything's okay, right? Everything seems to be okay. Lol, Matthew Sabia. Everything seems to be okay. Sorry, it looks like a chat somewhat disconnected on here on my end, and I don't know why. It's really weird. Everything seems to be rolling in just fine. Matt Q, Raffle, what the F, says the Astro 30. I was just joking. The Q doesn't exist. It's not in there at all. It's a joke, really. Thank you, by the way, for liking the video, especially if you're watching it live. That's the easiest way to like the video. If you're watching it after the fact, then you can't really like the video. But let's go with backslash as the keyword. If you've made it this far in the video, just leave a comment. Just say backslash, and then everybody will wonder, what the hell is he talking about, backslash? I wanted to go in a little further and talk specifically because we had a video the other day about getting a job as a computer engineer and things you might want to watch out for and consider, especially before you get into the job. This is going to be a video about the resume. I don't know if resume is a French word. Sounds French. I think there are a couple of accent marks somewhere in the word, although I couldn't tell you where. The last time I updated my resume, I think I was using Internet Explorer 2.0, and I don't think Google existed. I'm sure many of you have a resume that you keep up to date if you are developing a career. You know, you've got a path that you have jobs in your wake, and hopefully they've been good jobs, and you're building towards something. The resume, despite what you might have heard, is not dead yet. I mean, there's something to be said about being able to encapsulate all of your experience into a single document. I mean, it's very telling. If I was going to hire somebody, you know, I might say, well, where's your resume? And I would look at it, it's like, wow, I can't even read it. It's so horribly done. I mean, forget the misspellings. Sometimes just making it look good is half the job. And then, granted, that's just my opinion. I'm sure recruiters would say something completely different. Of course, you've got to put stuff in the resume. And more than anything, that's what I would suggest you start doing. Things that make your resume stand out more. The resume itself is still important. I mean, it's a dossier. I mean, your own crafted, I guess. You know, what you believe is most important, specifically for the job that you're applying for. But a resume, in some people's eyes, is outdated. It's outmoded. I think that, oh, you can't put an umlaut in resume, dude. Resume? That's Brian Thompson 73. I'm catching the comments as we're streaming this live on YouTube. Some people use LinkedIn as a resume, and I would say that if there was a next generation resume, it would likely be LinkedIn. And if you haven't filled out your profile and connections and got people to you know, give you some props or recommendations, you know, these are things that today's recruiters may very well be looking for. But just being on LinkedIn isn't enough. I know it's nice and easy and convenient to use LinkedIn because it's a website and it's free. Of course, you can pay for services beyond that. But having an actual resume, I mean, it's an art. You know, to have something, a sheet of paper. Can you imagine that? I do everything in my power to avoid sheets of paper. But, you know, according to an article that we wrote on LockerGnome.com, the resume is not dead. Do you agree? Do you think the resume is dead? If you do, how would you feel if you went to a job interview without a resume and say, no, I think it's dead? I think they would probably laugh you out of the office. It looks like Jazzman1914 says, I need someone to look over mines. Most jobs and career in the entertainment industry are made by viral videos here on YouTube nowadays, says Twilight Sparkle. Being active online, I think, is an amazing resume booster. If you can boast the fact that you had a video that had X thousand views, that's going to be impressive. To someone who knows nothing about YouTube, they'd look at that and say, huh, oh, you know about YouTube, huh? Well, what do you know about YouTube? Well, I know this, and this. Well, they may look up your handle, too. And if you've ever done anything that you shouldn't have been doing, or that wouldn't necessarily look good when you're going into a job interview, it may make you think twice about doing things and writing things that you shouldn't necessarily be doing online. In the UK, we use CVs or curriculum vitae, which are used all the time. It says Fubi Ziki. Let's see here. Will you give my hubby props on LinkedIn, says Freedom Walker 77. I don't know who your hubby is. I haven't given anybody props, even the people I know, because the people I know, I wouldn't hire. No, I'm kidding on that. Obviously, I have hired some people that I've known. That's if I have any tip to impart at this point. Yeah, build your resume, have something real there, get a LinkedIn profile, but don't just start adding people willy-nilly on LinkedIn. It's not like Twitter or YouTube. You can just add everybody. If you don't know them, I would not recommend making that connection with them, because then you're a part of their downline. You're a part of their connections. And you don't know who this person is. And if you can't vouch for them in a professional capacity, don't add them on LinkedIn. I mean, there's times that I've culled through the list of people that I had added. I think I have like 700 people on LinkedIn. And I've gone through and said, I don't know this person. I don't know this person. I don't know this person. Because in the beginning, I was just like, yeah, I kind of know that person. Yeah, maybe a little bit. And I felt kind of, odd not saying, yes, I'd like to accept you as a connection. I do not accept everybody as a connection on LinkedIn. And I would strongly recommend you consider the same thing, because that's your professional career that's potentially on the line. Wicket's alive. Pixie's barely alive. So I love that Big Green Bow says Nigeria Hamad 7. Yes, Pixie's rocking the bow. This is going to be known as the Bow series. Maybe you'll hire him, social media guy. Haha. Bad job market to be in. I've got social media handled up and down. Not a problem. Not a problem. So, rolling along, and I'm watching. Are you going to do a tour of your office in the new year? Says Crazy56479. Dude, it's like an annual tradition. Of course, we're going to have a... Sorry if the mic sounds odd there. Of course, we're going to have a walkthrough, and I think it's going to be really nice this year, because I've got the T3i that I've been using for video, and I love it. Even with a kit lens is what they call it. I will be uploading this weekend some footage that I've been recording around town, and you should all appreciate that to see what this lens can do indoors and outdoors, not including the sound. Hang on. Andreas BN228, the app perk saved 25% of my money every week. Wow, that's impressive, dude. Do a tour of your office. Techno Wolf 6, you're apparently not familiar with our annual New Year's Eve tradition. Be your own boss, says Ollie43. I agree. / says Astro, you're a little late, dude. That was like 10 minutes ago, or whatever it was. The audio is fine. Thank you, K420 Diddy. And I think this is... It's been a while, but... There's a Weird Al song on the album In 3D. That Boy Can Dance. And, he was kind of a jerk, he was kind of a bore, but he really... That's about as much as I want to sing, because I don't want to get sued by Weird Al Yankovic. But the idea was this kid was a geek, a nerd, a freak, a spaz, a dork, a dweeb. I can just go on and on and on with this stuff. But he could dance. He just burned up the floor, and I think that's a good thing, but I'm not sure. Trip Delight Fantastic, if you still use that in today's terms. I never really caught on to the whole video game dance craze. I think it had something to do with my lack of ability to dance. I can't do it. I mean, I can try, and I have tried, and I thought I did really, really well, but the best I can eke out is an Elaine. You've seen Seinfeld, the Elaine, she can't dance either. She has more dancing prowess, if you can call it prowess, than I do. I can't dance. I can't do it. They're all the rage, and people love it. Dance Dance Revolution all the way down the line, and apparently, Just Dance 3 has been released for the Nintendo Wii. We've done a full review. Obviously, I'm not the one who did the review, because I don't dance. That's my review. I just, no, too much. Here's the funny thing. Well, we wrote the review on Just Dance 3. I had no idea there was a Just Dance 1 or 2. Maybe there weren't. Maybe they just skipped 1 and 2 and went straight to 3. I really don't know. But if you have a Wii and you're interested in some physical activity, and I think most people who have Wiis have been shown to be less lethargic than those who don't play games that require motion. And that's what they look. That's actual footage. No, it's actually what I'm guessing people look like when they. I think you just imagine soda and snacks surrounding them. And they're playing PS3 or Xbox. I don't know. I really don't know what you look like. I don't care. But the idea, though, of dancing and physical activity, I think is a smart one. I really do. I'm not going to admonish those who do get off the couch and do things. Darn it, Chris, I got you DDR3 for Christmas, says Matthew Sabia. That was not on my wish list. At all. Ever. Never. Am I boring you? Hopefully I'm not boring you. But the idea of being physically active during a game is certainly... It's a good idea. I mean, Kinect has worked out very well for Microsoft. When I pass the Microsoft store at a local mall here in the Seattle area, I always see people dancing. But it's always this. It's always the kids who are dancing in front of the Kinect and the adults just standing back and going, the adults are the ones who need to dance most. And we're not doing it. Rafa141761 says, during the live video broadcast here on YouTube, says, make a video of you dancing. No. I have a Wii, only, says Crazy56479. Would you review... I've already done the review that you're asking me to do, Dropbox. That was like... I don't know what Dropbox has to do with dancing and video games, and are dancing video games a good idea or not? And if you even play any dancing video... Did anybody else not know there was a Just Dance 1 or 2? Tell me I'm not alone. Please. This is as much like hand-eye coordination as I can do. This is a joystick here and buttons. I'm trying and it doesn't really work well. It's easier to do when you're you have a physical joystick and button. Just Dance 3. But you can tell I was excited about that one. Here's a biggie. Here's a biggie. PayPal. PayPal. I'm going to wrap this one into one video, though, because we have two of them. And I'm not sure if covering one of them is... it's just more news-related. Let's see here. Give me a second. Opening the link from lockergnome.com. It's PayPal's world. The resume is not dead. Top 10 reasons. There we go. Right at the top of lockergnome.com. 6 reasons to be cautious when using PayPal. All right. Give me a second. I'm going to start the video. That's when I turn over here to the side. I'm starting the video to record as a separate segment. And by the way, if you guys have any questions to queue up, I've got time to answer a few questions here before the hour ends. I've been using PayPal since before it was PayPal. I used to use the service for transferring money back and forth when it was X.com. I go way back. And PayPal's not perfect. It was acquired by eBay after they realized, if you can't beat them, join them, or just pull them in. That's exactly what happened. eBay as a service in terms of getting goods and services transferred back and forth. PayPal is the easiest way to facilitate that transaction. I didn't use PayPal because of eBay. In fact, I've not really used eBay all that much since its inception. But you've got to understand a few things about PayPal, and I'm very grateful that Eddie Ringel, one of our authors on lockergnome.com, has spoken with a law student about the PayPal user agreement. And I wanted to cover a few points. If you want to refer to these points and pass them along to other people who think PayPal is the bee's knees without understanding these points, the link, of course, is in the show notes. And I'm just going to read directly from the article here. According to Article 10.3 in the user agreement, PayPal has sole discretion to decide if you have violated anything. That basically means if the company claims that you've broken a rule, disrupting it really won't help you, and it doesn't feel like giving you a chance, it won't. It's all up to PayPal. That's not really cool. And you could try complaining on Twitter. It may not get you very far because there are a lot of people who use PayPal and complain on Twitter. PayPal can block your account for 180 days at its sole discretion, which means if you have a stockpile of money in PayPal, because it's convenient for you, you can get locked out. You can be frozen out of funds. and there ain't nothing you can do about it. In an instant, Eddie writes, you could find yourself without access to your PayPal account, which could mean you are left without a means to afford necessities. Using PayPal as your primary, I guess, bank, even though it's not really a bank, is a dumb idea. PayPal can augment what you already have in your financial array if you have any type of money management systems in place. PayPal can close your account at any time, and the consequences of this are a bit more intense than just getting suspended for 180 days, because that's permanent. If PayPal is your means of living, if you use PayPal in any capacity in the services that it provides, or if you have your money locked up in it, if you get your regular income through PayPal, that's really putting you in a very precarious position. PayPal can shut you down, and there's nothing you can do about it, dude. It's probably happened to someone in our community. I would not be shocked. I've heard PayPal nightmare stories. I've had certain issues with customer service. I've been lucky enough to navigate those waters without too much hassle. But you may not be so lucky. At PayPal's discretion, this was a new one to me. It can charge you $2,500 or $2,500 for violating any of its rules or any part of its agreements with you. It's like getting fined a ticket for breaking some weird law from the 1800s you never knew about. And again, there's nothing you can do. You could get fined if you're not, in line. The chances are, I wouldn't say slim or minuscule, but they're certainly possible that you could get hit with a $2,500 fine from PayPal if you violate their terms of service. If PayPal believes you are a risk, it can lock out your account. And the worst part, that risk is not defined in the agreement. So you have to be wary of every single step you take with PayPal. Another point we bring up, if you have a dispute with PayPal and improperly file it, PayPal can claim $1,000. And it's scary to think that while you're trying to reclaim lost money, you could lose even more. And you can say to yourself, why is PayPal able to do this? Why are they able to get away with it? Because they can. People use them. The good news is Google has a pretty darn good alternative with Google Checkout, or Google Wallet, I think is what they're calling it now. There's a decent alternative for transferring money back and forth in a digital capacity. Banks are becoming more and more digital savvy with every passing day. There are different means to have kind of things, money go and flow, so just general things. But PayPal is kind of ubiquitous. Like I use PayPal. I use it all the time because it's easy, it's convenient. And nothing else has come close to that level of convenience that PayPal offers. It's not necessarily the cheapest service in town, it's just that a lot of people have PayPal. So why wouldn't I have PayPal, right? This is something you got to pay attention to. There was a news bit that broke this morning. We also covered this in a separate article on Locker Gnome today with Regretzy. They effectively froze them out of their account and gave them some just wild accusations and really unfounded. I would say unfounded accusations. They were essentially telling Regretzy that they were violating the terms of service when in fact they really weren't. PayPal kind of had said you could do this when you couldn't, or couldn't do this when you could. They wanted it both ways, and there's only one way to have a policy, and that's very definitive. Either way, that situation has been cleared up by now, and hopefully you'll take those discussion points to the bank, literally. Just know that PayPal isn't a right, and they can shut you down like that. If you have any other tips to share, you can leave a comment on Eddie's article, or of course leave a comment in the post. Feel free to share this video and or the article, just to let people be aware that this is real. It could very well happen to you if it hasn't happened already. I'm sure if it has happened, you would post a comment about that, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who aren't happy with PayPal. Me, so far, I guess I'm playing by the rules. So if we have any other questions here, or I guess any questions from the audience, feel free to throw them out there. We've got a little bit of time here before I have to wrap up the show. and move on with my life. I know it's kind of sad to see me go, but that's just kind of the way it is. I have other things I need to do today, and part of that does not include being on YouTube. You might think that I live here 24/7. I don't. I get out. Definitely get out of the house. Let's see here. You've seen Bank Simple now, simple.com? No, I've not. I have not used that. Oh, a lot of people apparently spamming the thread there. Why have all these things been flagged as spam? That's kind of weird. New Xbox dashboard. I haven't picked it up yet, so I can't really speak to it. Disney versus Warner Brothers. Is this a new lawsuit that apparently I missed? Or are you talking specifically about their content? What do you think of Google Sites? Says Rockets. Yeah, I think it's easy to use, or easy enough, and the cost is perfect. Nothing. It could be a little easier to use. When I jumped in, it was a little bit too esoteric in terms of what I expected the user experience to be. I was wondering if they had a Google card yet, like they have a PayPal card. Not so sure I've seen that. I have a PayPal card, and I use it regularly when I need to, or when I can't use the American Express, which is my primary card, or I try to. Someone was just asking about the Optimus Maximus keyboard. I still have it. I don't think we've reached, 100,000 karma on lockergnome.net before we give away that thing. It's been a while. Almost have 100,000 answers there. Hey Chris, do some of your sponsors, partners refrain from doing certain things in your videos? Says Alex plus Z. No, not that I know of. They've all been very, very happy. GoDaddy with the coupon code Chris. Citrix in their go-to-managed product. Have a few others. They kind of go on down the line, but they've generally been pretty happy. Where's Jabba? Says Lego Star Wars Club 9876. It's right at the entrance of my home office. He seems to be happy there for now. The best way to become a YouTube partner, says asks Freedom Walker 77. The bar used to be a lot higher than it is today. It seems that now all you need to do is just get an account. That's it. Create compelling content is what it kind of comes down to, and drive traffic, drive attention, get subscribers, and then you become a partner. Seriously, it's there's no trick to it at all, which is kind of sad. I mean, it used to be kind of neat to be a YouTube partner, and then they let in everybody and their grandmother. By the way, thanks for the 148 likes that we have in the video at this point in time. I really, really appreciate it. Can you please answer my question? Asks Benjamin Nicola Jew. I just did. I honestly, that was the only question that I saw there. Should have used that time wisely, because now I've just answered your question and I have to move on to somebody else. Bing, that's not really a question, but okay, sure, if you want. Answer, do you watch the creative one? Yes, I do, says Vital Grizz. There's a tweet. OmniDragon. Oh, OmniDragon just liked this video. Thank you, OmniDragon. Another one of my favorite community members. I see if I see your username over and over again, you become automatically you become a favorite. 2 faves, 148 to 2 dislikes ratio. You guys are awesome, says Ank Pop. Cool. Say my name, please. Gabor, mention me. You are an amazing writer. And I love how you put you are as a U and an R. Whoa. That's kind of crazy how everything kind of flooded in there at once. But if we want to do, Chris, can you talk a little about what you are going to do today? Says Predoj. I don't know. I'm kind of hungry, so I may get some food. Oh, it looks like Matthew Sabia is saying that he's watching the TLDR live. So that's kind of nice. See, I'm telling you, man, I get your tweets. I see this stuff. First live show for me. You're doing great, Chris, says Mr. Nick Abs. Thank you. Rotor Materna. I have no idea what that means. Perica 1357, but okay, fine. You guys made it this far in the video. I have to show you. I'm going to show you that animated GIF that I was talking about earlier, if only because I'm waiting for some good one good question that we can do a video on. All right, let's see how well this works. Can you see that there? So the cat walks in, takes a swipe of the tail, bats the other cat. Isn't that funny? Okay, so there you go. There's your fun of the day. See, this is what I'm going to do after I'm done recording videos. I'm just going to go find more animated GIFs. Where is the Xbox update? Asked Jazzman1914. I'm guessing on the Xbox. Probably would not be on the PlayStation 3, although I haven't confirmed that. Go ahead. Hello, you're awesome, says Intronets. Mr. Opinion 101 wants to know, I am almost blind. Is Siri a good help for me? It could be. I wouldn't necessarily rely on it as oh yeah, it's kind of stuck in there. Sorry, I needed to reconnect it. I've got all these wires and cables going all over the place. Like me, says Ib66. I'm sorry, Ib666. Are you asking if I like you? I don't know you well enough to like you. Lol, seen it. Funny. You guys are referring to the animated GIF. How do you sync your iPad apps to iTunes so you can update to iOS 5? Well, I guess it's already there. I don't necessarily... I had them stored on the computer and then had them kind of pulled over from the earlier versions of the OS, and it seemed to work just fine that way. Why don't I use the T3i for this live show, says J000101, because it doesn't work as a live video camera. It wouldn't work that way, unfortunately. Have you heard of Andromo? I have not, Kornbaum. Do you like the Apple Bluetooth keyboard? Yes, I do. Gunner Gaming Glasses thoughts? Yeah, sure. I don't need them because I don't game a lot. What do you think is the best way to save and store your passwords? We mentioned that in a video just the other day. Have you considered getting a new Mac Pro? Asks Computer Life 22. I have not. They haven't provided enough of a real solid reasons to upgrade from the Mac Pro that I have, even though the USB ports are pretty much dead on my current Mac Pro. I don't use USB as often as I used to. Does monetization on your videos help or go against you for partnership? It helps. We don't. I wouldn't say we score tons of money. Certainly, it's nice to have, better than nothing. But I'd say we drive most of our revenue specifically through sponsorships. And Caster JTMC asks, "What do you think you're going to eat?" I don't know. Dublin. Shane from Dublin is tuned in, apparently. This is his first live show. Thank you for joining us. What's your point of view on inductive charging? Says Jack2259. I think it's cool. I'd like to see more of it. That's the idea of having a device and then placing it on something and then having it charge without connecting any cables. I can't wait. This one might be a good one. Terrible broadcast. May have a good question that we can do for a final video today to round out the hour. Chris Smile, says Mr. Syrup Will. I'm not smiling. All right, here we're going to answer the question. Do you think netbooks are dead? Asked by Terrible Broadcast. I enjoy streaming live on YouTube every day with TLDR, the Locker Gnome Daily Reporter. Too long didn't read, and part of it is being able to read questions and comments from the community as the comments roll in live. And so I asked, does anybody have any good questions? And I answered a few of them in the longer form show, but I wanted to record a separate video on one, so I was looking for that one special question. And Terrible Broadcast, that's this person's handle on YouTube, asked, do you think netbooks are dead? And I've referred to this in other videos, but here's a netbook. This is really, I think this is the second netbook that I have in my home. The other one is somewhere else. And I bought this for about $350. And you know how frequently I used it? Touching it here now is probably more than I've ever touched it from the time that I got it finished setting it up. It's nice to have this netbook here. Everything works well enough. It's functional. It's got a keyboard, a little touchpad or trackpad. You got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, the whole 9 yards. And a nice little screen here. But, $350. Today, I'd rather spend that $350 on something else. Oh, yeah, I think this one also had a webcam, too. Yep, there's a webcam there, sound card, and everything. It is a full-fledged, notebook computer, a netbook. So somewhat underpowered. And, yeah, the idea of netbooks, have kind of come and gone. This is clunky. It really is. Compared to today's computers, what $350 might go to, especially if you consider something like an iPad, a computer. And I'd rather apply $350 to a new iPad than I would buying another netbook. I think, yeah, these things are dead. Not me or my logo, netbooks. When was the last time you heard anybody? They were all the rage. Everybody was talking about netbooks a couple years ago. Everybody wanted a netbook for their Christmas or birthday present. I just wanted to see what the fuss was about, and honestly, there was not much fuss. It's meh. You could save up your pennies and go for like an ultra book, something that is slim and powerful. But a netbook, yeah, no one's really talking about them anymore. I think they didn't really need to exist. In fact, I think the last time I heard anybody talking about a netbook was just before the iPad. And people were like, well, why would I buy an iPad? I can have a netbook and get a VGA port. Yeah, there you go. Buy something brand new with something so old. Genius. They've had their time in the sun, or as the case of my netbook, in the shade. I'll probably hold on to it for a while. You might like your netbook. Sorry if this is, moving my dog around is hitting the mic, but I'm not really excited about netbooks. Never really was. And if you didn't realize that they're dead, you should know now. If you have it on your Christmas list, just go ahead and just scratch it off or delete it, however you manage your wish list. CPT RAM Rod D07. You guys got to work on your username. Some guy says they are underpowered and overpriced. I tried to trip through his username, didn't quite make it, and that's about right. Underpowered and overpriced by today's standards. For something like this today, $50. I'd be lucky if I could sell it for $50. I'd be lucky if I could sell it for $25. And at which point I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm like, it's not hurting anything. It's fine. If I could sell it for $300, here you go. I'll sell you my netbook for $300. Didn't work. What if I autograph it? What if I don't autograph it? Would that be worth more to you? It's worthless, guys. I would not be able to, in good conscience, sell this thing. You would almost have to pay me to give it to you. That's how these things are they're not that exciting. They never were. And anybody who got excited about them, I mean, beyond the idea that they're netbooks and they're kind of tiny and they get the job done, their time has come and gone. I know I'm not alone. I believe the netbook is dead. Do you? Yeah, the iPad killed it. I really do. That's the last time. Okay, Pixie, you went off? Oh, wow, it's so much cooler. I knew netbooks would never be worth it, says NeeJVR. What's up? Says Gibbs91053343. I wouldn't pay $20. Lol, says Matthew Sabia. So, that's about it. We were just shy of an hour. We shared all the articles we needed to share on lockergnome.com today, or the ones that I wanted to talk about and cover in videos. If you haven't yet subscribed to the Locker Gnome email newsletter, please do. It's free. We've been sending it out since 1996. That's a long time. And we will keep you up to date on the next latest live shows. Of course, you can head over to go.tagjag.com/upcoming-live. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, wherever. But the newsletter, that's our primary source of getting you information ahead of time. Tomorrow, remember, TLDR is an hour earlier if you're wanting to watch it live with the interview with the guy who built R2-D2. And he's also worked on other movies like Superman 2 and a James Bond film. Kind of neat. Wish I could have that on my resume. Unfortunately, no, this is about as good as it gets for me. Sitting in front of a camera in my home office and talking to people. Virtually, having fun. So it looks like we've got plenty of likes have come down the pike for this video. Thank you, watching it live. Thank you for liking this video. If you are watching this video and you didn't get a chance to like it, the new keyword for making it this far in the video is glue stick. Glue stick. I just grabbed it there. It's glue stick. That's the key word. If you've made it this far in the video and you weren't able to like it, or maybe you were able to... Let's see if I can get it right. Is that right? Is that right? Let's go over this. Hey, where's my mouth? Where? Oh, there's my mouth. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh yeah, yep. Yep. Going this way. Yep. See, this is what you get when you stay tuned to the end of the video. Oh, other eye. Don't ask me what I was doing with that. And I'm sure you will not be tuning in tomorrow. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for paying attention as long as you have. I am listening. I am watching. My email address, chris@pirillo.com. My blog, chris.pirillo.com. We have a few things going on over there as well. I don't know if you guys knew that. And with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. That's another French word for this video. I think I've now fulfilled my quota, which would get me, pretty far in France or Canada, which is kind of like France Junior. Not really. I like Canada more. Don't tell that to people in France. They get kind of uppity, when you start comparing them to Canadians. Not that I'm trying to offend Canadians or French people or anybody. Okay. We are typically talking tech, geeking out, sharing news, reviews, how-tos, and just kind of having fun online. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can join us in our chat room at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.